Thank you for tuning in to the Rock is George podcast, episode 240, featuring melodic rock solo artist Rob Moratti, talking about his latest album, Sovereign. If I knew absolutely nothing about Rob Moratti, how would you describe your music to me?
My music today is probably melodic, modern, and classic rock all at the same time.
I'd have to agree with you.
And happy, which we're drifting far, far away from.
I agree. And you know what? I think music has always been that escape for the dredges of the world. And
Absolutely. Yes.
certainly classic rock and AOR has always been kind of uplifting. And I definitely see those messages in your upcoming album, which is your sixth studio album, Sovereign. It comes out on December 12th through Frontiers Music. Before we get into the songs, this is the follow-up to your 2022 album, Epical. How soon after the release of that album did you start writing Sovereign?
I was immediately at work. I've been indulging with all the separate and writers and enjoying the level of chemistry that I didn't want to stop, and so I kept going. And I'm here right now doing it all over again. Yeah, it's been quite a ride. I say I'm going to slow down, but I never do.
Can't stop good creativity, right?
Yeah, I always say if it isn't broken, don't try to fix it, and you keep going.
So you mentioned that you collaborate. I'm assuming that you collaborate
Yeah,
with your backing band.
yeah, oh yeah, I do. I've got a few of the co-writers out. They're all out in Europe, of course. Between Ulrich, uh, Mr. Lundquist, Ulrich, Pete Alpenberg. You've probably heard their names a million times, and Frederick Berg. I've worked with him from the beginning of all my solo albums as well. And I've got Felix Borg on drums. We've co-written a few songs already, and he plays all the drums as well. And of course, you know of Tony Franklin and Joel Hoekstra that play all the beautiful parts. It makes it all interesting and keeps the energy and the music alive, and you can hear it. These guys play from the heart. They write from the heart, and I'm glad that I had the opportunity, to work with these guys. So
I listened to your album pretty much blind the first time through, and you mentioned these great musicians that work with you. I'm like, geez, the guitar on this is really, really good. I'm like, for a studio musician, the guitar is just, I can hear
it's nuts. Oh, yeah.
Then I'm like, it's Joel Hoekstra. Okay, it makes
sense. There you go. It doesn't get any better than that. That's for sure. There's different, but if you can get many, and sometimes it's just fun to mess it up. But I've been working with Joel now, and he's been on board with me the last several albums. Maybe this is now maybe our fourth. He's a great guy. He's easy to work with. For me, he's a gentleman, and he's a pro. So, and the same thing is the same goes for Tony Franklin. And he's been with me from the very beginning of my solo albums. And I don't break anything that doesn't need any fixing. These guys are the best of the best. And thankfully, I'm delivering good enough quality of music for these guys to even want to work together and keep it going. Mm-hmm.
So the album's title, Sovereign. There's no songs on the album called Sovereign. So what inspired?
No. Well, it's at a place where, after all these years, we're at this level of music that needs some type of understanding and Sovereign in its own royalty way. There's a magic in every track. And I thought this is a good time to call something like this now. Sovereign. You know?
Yeah,
It was a more personal touch for me. I try to do that with almost every album. If you look carefully, most of them are titled, but don't have a title track. you know?
that's true.
Yeah. I try to keep it going. It becomes a thing now. It's like, okay, well, here we go. Why break it? Keep it. Who knows? Might keep it. Yeah, I don't want to jinx anything, God forbid.
Well, you
Yeah.
talked about this album being something positive and sort of this negative world that we're living in. I think
Yeah,
the album's a love letter. It's about being in love, and it's about kind of the
that's right.
great feelings of being in a relationship where you have mutual respect for each other, mutual love,
That's right.
shared interests. I mean, you can expand a little more on that than I could.
The truth is, think about it. Right? We are all we've all been around. We've all understand. We can all relate to all the tracks. And it makes it easy for everyone to say, hey, yeah, I get that, and this is the way it was for us. Even back in the day, we grew up with the best kind of music like this. Most of it was always about relationships and love, and the style of music. There's no room for, you know, politics. God forbid. That's the last place you want to throw in here. I mean, if it had more of that YouTube vibe, uh, but it doesn't. It's more of that, Journey and Survivor and bit of Sticks and all of that good stuff. Total, of course.
Kind of the
And
stuff you grew up on.
absolutely. It's in my heart. Yeah,
So, why don't you tell me about the first single you have out, "Don't Give Up on Love," and what inspired the lyrics for that one?
it just hit me. I felt it right on the first when I came up with the chorus. I go, it just feels like, okay, I want it to have an impact with "Don't Give Up on Love." And I go, look at that. That's just perfect. And I elaborated from that with the lyrics. And along the way, it all came together that it should be positive. Everyone being in situations where sometimes we're in a good place and not always for many, but never give up. Here we are. You know,
So,
we're here to always pick each other up. Yeah.
when it comes to you writing lyrics and whatnot, do you already have the music from your backing band, or is it kind of in the reverse order?
Both. The music comes around, then we start working on some of the. I'll work back and forth with my main writers and with the melody parts, and then the lyrics. I'll work it when I have starting. With some of the tracks start getting delivered, and then I can map it out musically, and then I'll work it out. You know. Before, so musically it's always the music first,
Yep.
that comes in. I'll listen to it. If I like it, I'll say, hey, this sounds great, let's do this. But if I don't, well, we keep going. But most of the time it's like that, and then I like to get it. I want to feel it. It needs to inspire me, melodically. Then the placement, of the lyrics and all that, it takes time, you know
Absolutely.
yeah.
Do you have another single that's planned that you can mention?
Oh, of course. We do have another coming out in November, actually. Can't Let You Go.
Another great track from the album.
And have you heard it?
Yeah, oh yeah, I've heard the whole album. It's great.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, it's a great album. It's funny because I struggle with this. I go, okay, what do you want to release first? Pick one. I go, it's hard because I try to give the whole album has to be. I mean, I don't know. I'm being biased. Because it's me.
Right.
But really, I wouldn't know where to start if I had to release the first or whatever. So I go, you know what? Let's do "Can't Let You Go." And so I had put together some ideas for the video, and they put it together, and here we go. That ended up being it. I know. Yeah, it's crazy. There's a couple of crazy ass ballads in there, and
Well, you got to
they,
release one of those. It's almost like a rule.
yeah, it's funny, eh? It's like shit. Yeah,
It's like you
but
have hard
the
rock track,
production
and
is
then
crazy.
you got to do the hard rock track, then you got to do the ballad, and then you got to do the other one.
I don't know. It seems like we're going both rockers. I'm okay with that because you know what? People are going to listen to it and they're going to go, "Oh, wow." There's a couple that really have, you know,
How big is this kind of music in Canada, where you're from? I know there's a lot of Swedish bands making this kind of music now. A lot of
that's
it's
why. Here we go. We talked about that. Oh, sorry. Okay, you're cutting out. Are you still there?
yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, okay, great.
So basically, the question is, how big is this style of music in Canada? I know a lot of Swedish bands doing this sound now, a lot of Italian bands doing this song now. America, not so much. I
Good.
mean, they got some guys kind of trying to bring it back, but it's not so big yet in America again.
I'm one of those trying to bring it all back. It's very limited, obviously. It's been like that for years now, decades, if anything. But what keeps it going and what keeps us going is really what's happening out in Europe. It's exactly like you say in Sweden right now. All the writers that I work with, they're all out in Sweden.
Right.
Why? Because it just is, and it's great. There's a chemistry. I love working with them. They're like family now. And obviously we got Joel from, New York, and they got Tony living in LA, but he's from the UK as well. Back really, but he's living out in LA. You know what? The writers, though, when I have to get out nitty gritty with the hard work, they're there, and we're delivering it what we have to do. Unfortunately, if I had to go out and say, "Hey, I'm going to start performing live right now in Canada,"
Right.
mm, you know, you're going to take a hit. It's you know, we're not talking. America is, imagine you can't even touch it, and you can't even go near Canada. It's even worse.
I think
Yeah.
a lot of people don't understand that there is certainly a much bigger, more vibrant music scene outside of North America.
Yes, absolutely. I tell my kids that all the time. I go when I was out in Europe and when I was performing, I did Sweden Rocks Festival with when I was with Saga. I'm like 44,000 people.
Right.
Oh my God. I go, wow. You're not going to get that here.
No.
You know, it's unfortunate.
So this is your second solo album for Frontiers Music. How did you end up signing with the label?
I approached them. I was with AOR Heaven, George, and he's a great guy. Yeah, I've been with him. He was true to me and great. Like all the rest of them, I have no complaints. Labels are labels, and they're trying like everyone else. But he had retired. And I go, okay, no problem. We're gonna miss you, and that was it. And then I go, you know what? I started working on that album. I go, let me start chopping it. And I had a few other labels that were actually interested, and they were really nice about it. But I had to go with Frontiers. You know, just with the whole professional vibe and everything about them. And I go, wow. I you know, that was great. I reached out to Mario personally. I go, let me just see if they're interested, and they were. They go, well, we'll listen to it.
For your
And
for your earlier albums, you were with Escape Music, correct? Which is
Escape, yes,
they're
yes,
kind of like the
absolutely.
Canadian, or they're the Canadian Frontiers, kind of.
They're like, sorry.
They're kind of like the Canadian version of Frontiers Music.
I think so. Something like that. I was with them for a while and for a few albums, and then sure enough, things later, eh, eh, change of heart. You
Right,
know,
right. You
Not
got to look
all.
out what's best for you.
Absolutely. You know,
So,
but and it was great. It was the best thing I did. Thank God.
So when, as an artist with Frontiers Music, I noticed that some artists, I mean, certainly the more established bands, they get their releases on CD and on vinyl.
You're
And
right. Yeah, yeah.
yours is just on CD, which I think you probably kind of still proving yourself at the label for them to start pressing out vinyl. But is that an option for you with this album? Maybe if it does well.
That's possible. At the end of the day, it's really, really the label if they want to do it. You know what? They surprised me with all the with the T-shirts and merchandising. I go, wow, that's so beautiful. I go, that's them, right, doing that, and it means a lot to me, and thankfully and hopefully it does well enough to them turn around and say, hey, maybe we'll release it in vinyl. They have everything to go ahead and do if they wanted to. They have my approval at any level. Yeah, it's great.
Rob, do you get a chance to perform live your solo material?
Not recently, not in the last few years. I did though a few times here and there, and even even when and that was it. I probably, it's another option that's on my list that I might consider, even a bunch of shows out in Europe. A couple of festivals involved that might get things started all over again.
Well,
But sorry.
now that Frontiers is starting their Frontiers Music Festival back up, I mean, that seems like a good opportunity for you.
It would be great. I would love to go out. Absolutely. It's, like I said, tough, tough for everyone, and things are getting tougher.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna get charged a carbon tax for breathing on the air. Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
it's crazy. Yeah, that's another story.
So I want to hit the time machine a little bit on your career. You were in this band called Final Frontier from 2002-ish to 2006-ish. You released 4 studio albums.
Yeah,
This was a little different than what you're doing now. Why don't you tell me a little bit about it?
it had an edge, that's for sure. It was more of a. It definitely had a higher. Uh, it was an experimental band when we first started. It was Mladen and I, my partner, co-writer and guitarist, plays, and he produced the album at the time. And then we're buddies. We're buddies. So we'd sit around and we started writing songs in a style of classic rock, obviously.
Hmm.
Same genre of, Styx and Journey meets Survivor and Total, all in the same vein. And it was great. It was something where I started to feel with him, and I go, man, and we started going and going, and we ended up writing an album, and we shopped it, and we ended up getting a deal, and it was great. And because then it got better as we went on. The next album, and in the third album, High Tension Wire, I think at the time it was even released through Frontiers. That's right, back in the day, you know. And that was it. And then the fourth one was released through Escape. But we had a good run with those albums, and he and I had written so many tracks that we had many, 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 many more for even more. And, things happen. At the time, things started to change.
Was it more of life gets in the way, or was it more like music tastes changed?
And no, no, no. I think, I think it's just probably both. Yeah, if that makes any sense. I mean, I enjoy everything I did with him. Mladen and I, we go back a long way. I get close to my people. I try to keep them as family. I know we're friends and all, but and things change, and I'm okay with that. I was always ready for possibly another album, but it never did happen, and that's it.
So you mentioned Mladen, your co-conspirator in this Final Fantasy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's got
Realize
he's he's got his own. You remember Von Groove?
I was just going to bring that up. I'm like,
Yeah.
I discovered that album by accident, the debut Von Groove album. I never got a
Oh,
chance to see
what
it.
a great album, eh?
Fantastic.
They're incredible. That was a great album. I still listen to it every once in a while. I'll pop it on and I go, "Oh man, what were you guys thinking?" So good. Yeah.
Now, is it true that Pete Lesperance of Harem Scarum was on the first Final Frontier album, First Wave?
Yes. Yeah, he played on one track. Yes. Oh, you remember that? You really did your homework. Damn, I have to go back and start doing my homework over. Yes, Pete did. Yes. Yeah.
So were you guys already aware of Pete when you had him appear on this album, or was it just like he was at the studio at the time, or some crazy story like?
No. We knew him. We already knew of him. Obviously, he was Harem Scarum was big everywhere, and they had so much success in Japan.
Mhm.
That they're the ones that suggested, why don't you get Pete to play a song on your record? I go, fuck, that'd be great. I go, okay, let's ask. And sure enough, we reached out, and he was a gentleman. He said, sure, and it obviously helped.
And their debut album is also fantastic.
Oh man, yeah, those guys are on fire, and they're still good. They're still great, releasing good stuff. But I remember their debut was wow, yeah, pretty
So
cool.
shortly after your time with Final Frontier, you got the gig in Saga, the
Yeah,
progressive hard rock
yeah.
band. You appeared on their album, The Human Condition, in 2009. How did you end up scoring that gig?
It's funny. I was let's tell you the story. Quick one. I know I don't want to waste your time with all that stuff, but I was listening to the radio station one day. I was at work, and I hear on Q107. And Q1, oh, I keep forgetting you're in America. It's a big rock station in Toronto.
Right.
And Kim Mitchell was working there at the time. I mean, I think he was, talking about it, saying, hey, there, here we got Saga looking for a new singer. And there was auditions. And I heard it and I thought, yeah, forget about it. What are the chances? And then later, I had a friend, Dave, come in to see me at work. And he goes to me, this is later, months later, and he goes, uh, that Saga's looking for a singer. When he said that, my ears rang, and I go, they're still looking. And he goes, they're searching, eh? I go, I would love to check it out. Let me. And he said to me, I can get Ian's email. All right, do that for me. I would appreciate it. No, I'll send him my stuff if he wants to hear it. And back then, I had a MySpace. You remember that?
Oh yeah.
It was popular, right? So I thought, okay, let's check it out. And I'll go. And so I sent them all the stuff, and then they had a 3-day audition run at the Metalworks. Remember the Metalworks? The big studio here in Toronto, owned from the guys from Triumph.
Gilmore, yeah.
That's right. And so we were in the back, and they had me up first. Everyone one at a time. It went on for 3 days. I guess they had a bunch of guys flying in, so I was the first, and I learned like 5 tracks for them. It was great. I did it, and I hung out. We chatted, we shot the shit, and I went home. And that same night, Ian comes back to me and he goes, you were the first one up, and we've had several guys. By the end of the night, you're still on top. He goes, I just wanted you to know. And I go, oh, okay, this is a good feeling. It's a good sign. And then again, the day after, he goes, no one's coming close to you, says to me, if I'm going to tell you now, you're the winner, but I can't. Oh, what a guy. I said to him, okay. But, because everyone has to approve, not everyone's going to like you. And sure enough, thankfully, they all came around. and then I ended up getting the gig. By Monday, he had told me about some of the guys that tried out, and I go, whoa, whoa. I mean, a lot of great singers, a lot of different styles, right? And I ended up getting the gig.
Did you
And then,
recognize anybody else the day that you were auditioning that was there auditioning with you?
oh no, 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 there's no one there.
Oh, okay. You're
That's how they do
isolated.
it.
You're isolated.
Oh yeah. So when I was there, they even had a chance to hang out, because they gotta work with you.
Yeah.
and and I get that, and they want to see if your personality clashes with any of them. No, no, yeah, they were all good guys, thank God. And sure enough, and Ian's he was more worried about coming out and not pulling it off, and he got, don't worry, let's do this. And I had, my God, I learned those songs like better than my own. Eh, yeah, and it was fun. It was great. It was a blessing because I got to tour, and we had written and recorded and produced the Human Condition album together, and it was the biggest thing I ever did. We toured like monsters, and it was great.
Was there
That
any indication when you were offered the gig that it might be a temporary gig?
I it's everything is almost temporary to me. I understand that Michael's he's the original dude. I remember growing up listening to you know you know On the Loose. I used to cover that song back in the day. Like we all remembered all that good stuff in the music. For me, it was a blessing. So for me to say temporary or not, enjoy the moment, you
Right.
know, and that's what I did because it is what it is, and thankfully it lasted at least 3 years. We pulled off a studio and live album. And that was it. Yeah, and then Michael came out of retirement, and I understand that because they're you know it's big. It's big for them because they're a live act, and that's where it is for them.
Right.
I remember them telling me back in the day. Ian used to tell me all the time, man, if you did what you're doing right now 20 years ago, you'd be untouchable. You know, and I go, thank you, sir. I go, no worries, man. I go, we had the best time. They were
That's
all
what's
good
important.
guys. Absolutely. There's no disrespect. Ian still calls. We chat. I we do things, and that's what makes them even better.
Did you ever get the opportunity to try out or get any offers from any other established bands throughout your career?
Oh my oh my God, this is a funny question because I don't even know how to answer it at this point. I had other. It's because I can't really tell. I'm not supposed to.
Right, right, right.
Professionally speaking. But
No,
there
I get it.
was another band that came to me, and I get it because I think they were waiting on the singer to release a solo album, and if it did well, then I was going to be the next guy in, and he didn't even see it coming. Do you know what I'm saying? It's kind
Yeah,
of weird.
no, I get it.
I get it
I've
too,
asked
and
that
I thought to
question.
myself, well, yeah,
I've asked that question of other guys, and they're like, "Yeah, but I had to wait to see if the band drama died down, and I still can't mention who it is."
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy because all I got to tell you is it's an American band. Damn. But you know what? It's good. I'll take it to the grave with me. What are you gonna do? They were gentlemen that they even to reach out and offer it to me. I was like, wow, you're kidding, man. I grew up listening to you guys. Oh my God. But thank you. You know, maybe in the next interview, I'll tell you, who knows? You
That's
know,
right.
I don't want to piss them off. They're still touring. The odd
We'll wait till they're done touring.
We're done. Yeah. Okay. That's the thing, right?
Uh,
It's life, buddy.
So besides your solo work and your upcoming solo album,
Yeah,
Sovereign, are you working on any other projects or making any guest spots on other musicians' albums?
I'm not really. I'm trying not to. I find that it just takes some time that I don't have anymore.
Right.
You know? Unless it's something crazy, right? Something really that stirs me crazy. But I was almost involved in a few things in the past, and I thought to myself, no, I can't keep doing this. It's not even worth it, you know? And I have this thing about the sound. If that's not really happening, oh my God. So I get too personal about it. So I find that I do better staying focused on what I do best, you know, and I'll stick to what I know. If,
Perfect.
yeah. You know, if anybody needs help, like I've done for friends, even from members from Saga, and I no problem. But no, that's it. You know, unless you're like I said,
Exactly.
yeah.
Well, Rob, those are all the questions I have for you today. The new album is Sovereign. It comes out December 12th through Frontiers Music. It's a fantastic album, and I wish you the
That,
best of luck with it. And
oh, brother.
I'm glad that you could take the time today to tell me more about it.
Are you kidding, man? Thank you for reaching out, and I appreciate it, man. Okay, I look forward to the next time. Maybe I'll break the ice with you on that band.
Once again, I want to thank Rob Moratti for coming on the Rock is George podcast. Be sure to check out his latest album, Sovereign, out on December 12th through Frontiers Music. Head over to your favorite music streaming platform, take a listen to what's available. If you like what you hear, buy a physical copy, support the artist. For all things Rob Moratti, head over to his official website, robmoratti.net. I also want to thank Dustin Hardman of Hardman Promotions and Frontiers Music for making this interview possible. You've been great. I've been George Dionne. Discover your next favorite artist on the Rock is George podcast.